Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now, I actually had an email from a client of mine who was noticing there were a lot of people suffering with anxiety at this time. 2020 has been really a very anxious and fearful time for a lot of people. Um, Currently, with the US election, everything kind of quite a bit of turbulence in regards to that, and then we've had the COVID-19 thing, which a lot of people are still going through in regards to isolation and all the fear and everything about it too. So what I want to do, and my client had a great idea, is helping these people out. So we're going to do a free demonstration healing in regards to helping you with your anxiety and anything fear related. Fear really creates all illness, all dis-ease. A lot of the times we feel like we get ill and we get these diseases, and then the anxiety and the fear comes with it. It's definitely not that way. We get fear and anxiety that leads to us being stressed. That's essentially where stress comes from. And this reality, the world that we live in, expects so much from us, right? Really, such a there's so many stimuli and so many things that need to be done, makes it very hard for us to create a space for ourselves to be calm and composed, and create the space for ourselves where a lot of people call it mindfulness. Really, it's to do more with consciousness than mindfulness. And a lot of the times when we get stuck in the mind, we get, the byproduct of that is getting stressed, and we get anxiety as part of that process as well. And we kind of get drawn by so many stimuli and so many things out into reality that we start to get orientated by the mind, and we lose connection to self. And that's when really fear starts to be created. And again, it's not these things that are creating fear. We create the fear in regards to the space that we create for ourselves, depending on what reality is trying to do to us. Especially when we're in the mind, we're very good at creating them, but we create through fear. When really that leads us down a path where illness and a dis-ease will manifest from that. So with this free healing, it's for every single person. I'm going to show you a way of creating a connection to self, okay? As I say, when we get in the mind, we disconnect from self. Mindful or being in the mind is here. When we connect with consciousness, we do it through the heart space. We call that the sacred heart. So everybody now, I want you to repeat, because this is not something I'm going to send to you. This is something that you're going to establish a connection with yourself, okay? And as I say, anxiety comes from disconnection. Depression comes from disconnection. Illness comes from disconnection to self, where you end up losing your true identity and losing self in the process. Okay, and stress, as I say, is a manifestation of that process. Okay, so I'm going to say words and I want you to repeat them, okay? Now, I do this regularly with my clients all the time if I find an issue of disconnection to self. What I mean by connection to self is you're connecting to your multidimensional aspect of yourself, the aspect of yourself that resides outside of this reality in a number of different realities, and we can call those different dimensions, we can call them different realms. And a lot of people will give that term the higher self, or we have more than one higher self. There's a number of higher selves. That's why we get called that we're a multidimensional being, okay, is because we exist in so many different planes of existence, which we can call them our higher selves. We can call them also our ascendants. We can also call them our eternals, because they exist on planes where the same limitations that we have here are not there. And one of those is time. Okay, so through this command, you can enable a greater connection to those aspects of you. Now, that space that we create for self is being in the now, because when we're in the now, we evade time. We're not in the future, we're not in the past. We have awareness of everything that's surrounding us right now. When really, when we go out to reality and we've got all these things to do at our job, we're multitasking, we don't have awareness of self because we've got so many things to do. Our mind is kind of taken over. Okay? Other aspects of where we connect to self is our gut instinct, right? We might get a challenge or something come into our life. You'll get an immediate gut instinct. But if we allow time to intervene and we think about it for any length of time, the mind comes in and intervenes. And quite often that's where we get sidetracked, right? So here we go. Here's the free clearing. And as I say, for you to gain this connection to self, you need to voice this command because you're going to connect with your higher selves. Okay? I'm going to connect with my higher selves now, but you voicing it, you do the same thing with your higher selves. Okay? So here we go. Okay. Using the columns of light, the vortices of light vibration frequency of my source self, my higher selves, to connect to calibrate to, within and through me. If you want to be specific about an area, you will voice that now, okay? Allowing those light activations, allowing growth, evolvement, ascension, regeneration, connection and calibration within and through me, from the origin, the genesis of me, my source self. Okay? You might want to voice that more than once, maybe twice or even 3 times. You may want to close your eyes while you're doing this, go to a quiet spot to do this. Maybe do this doing the thing that you love to do while you're going for a walk or at the beach or gardening. Okay, you're creating a space for yourself where you're bringing your awareness here into the now. Okay, it's very much like meditation. The thing about meditation is they tell you to do that to silence the mind, right? It's not about just silencing the mind. It's about removing the mind out of the way because the mind is the problem. You're intervening in the problem. You need to let it go. Okay? So meditation is a practice quite often that you focus on the breath. What's that doing? Bringing your awareness back to self. Okay? Because if you have no awareness to self, you don't have a consciousness with a connection with your consciousness. You're disconnected, right? Reality is starting to affect you. Reality is telling you what to do. Reality is evolving you instead of you creating the reality that you want to make and evolving the way that you want to do it. Not through fear, but through love. So this will help you a lot. So again, repeat those commands. We're going to do it once more. Okay, here we go. Using the columns of light, the vortices of light vibration frequency, because that's what we are. Okay? Using the columns of light, the vortices of light vibration frequency to connect to, calibrate to, within and through me. Allowing light activations, allowing growth, evolvement, ascension, regeneration, connection, and calibration, please. All the way from the origin, the genesis of me, including my higher self, my source self. Now, quantum physics has told us that the idea that this reality is a physical reality is an illusion in itself. The brain is just computing vibration and frequency and putting it into a form. So it's an illusion in itself. So we are vortices of vibration and frequency because the vortex is the geometry of flow. And if we're disconnected to self, we're not allowing flow. Okay? When we're not going with the flow of life, that manifests into flow problems with all the aspects of the body. And that the aspects of the body rely on flow. And if you don't have flow in regards to the way you're living your life, A manifestation of that is stress. Manifestation of that is anxiety. Manifestation of that is depression. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video, gets a lot out of it. Okay. And if you're interested in, if you've got issues with anxiety, as I say, this will help you a lot. But for some people, we may need to do a lot more clearings for you in regards to your very chronic case of anxiety. So keep in mind, book an appointment at trulyholistic.net, and we can help you out with that. Also, give you the information like we have today for you when you're away, when you're going back into life, going back into reality, is understanding that reality. So therefore you don't get yourself and create that space for yourself where you get stressed out, you get fearful, and that manifests into anxiety. Till next time, bye.